All right, everybody. Today, I want to introduce you to someone who actually has inspired me by her international travels and, in particular, her travels to the continent of Africa. As a matter of fact, that's where I met her. And when she was on one of her visual storytelling adventures. And so you're going to learn so much. I want you to make sure that you share this information because by you doing this, it's going to help open someone's mind to the possibilities of travel and just being willing to be courageous and being an explorer of the world. So today we have the pleasure of talking to Kamilah Tom. She is a visual storyteller. She's a recent graduate of Howard University, HU.
You know?
There it is. And broadcast journalism is her was her major, and there's just so much. So anyway, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing well, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Also, I wanted to have you share your story, and I think it's so important for so many people to hear what you as a recent college graduate. So you graduated 2019
Mhm,
from Howard,
mhm,
and from there you didn't just go jump into the job market.
mhm.
You actually decided that you were going to get on a plane and go to Africa. So tell me a little bit about what led you to make that decision and your experiences.
Okay. Well, I've been wanting to travel the continent for a while. I actually wanted to study abroad initially in Ghana and West Africa in 2018, but they didn't have the program of my choice. So I had to go to South Africa instead, which was just as dope. But I was just trying to get to West Africa. And I'm a traveler overall. And being that I was in school, my traveling was halted a little bit, at least how I wanted to travel. So now that school was coming to an end in 2019, I remember saying, actually journaling about it in January of 2019, right? When the new year had started, I was like, okay, I'm actually going to travel. I'm going to travel to Ghana after graduation. I don't have any more commitments. I'm not held down by school or a job. So I'm going to go and we're going to see what's going to happen. I looked at plane tickets. I didn't tell anyone just yet. I was looking at plane tickets, and a one way from DC to Ghana was between $700 and $800. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's not gonna work for me. I
No
was a college
way.
student. Exactly, that was just one way, right? I was a college student. I was working three jobs, just trying to put myself through school. So I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work just yet. I put an alert on my phone to alert me if prices were going to go down. March 2019, I forgot the exact date, but in March I get an alert that it had went down. I didn't think it went down as much, so I checked it and I bought a one-way ticket for $386, and I think like 60 cents or something like that. And I freaked out because I was like, oh, this is like my first step and I'm really going. I don't know anyone. I've never been to West Africa. I was excited but scared at the same time. And so I remember I actually recorded myself and I started crying. So I'm like, yo, I'm really going to Ghana. Like I'm really traveling after college with no funds yet, like nothing. So I ended up telling my family finally. And of course, they hit me with a ton of questions. They should be used to me by now with how I roll. But, they're like, where are you going to stay? Where's the money? Et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I just been wanting to go to the continent. I think what really inspired it was, for one, I mean, as you know, growing up in America, as a Black person, you're not fed the whole truth about the continent of Africa. The continent is dehumanized, is demonized. You think that, they stay in huts still, or you think they're not, as developed as we are here in America. We just have all these negative thoughts about the African continent. And so I think around like maybe 20 years old, I was coming out of that and beginning to learn a lot more. And in turn, learning more of obviously who I am. So, and a lot of people sometimes would think I was from either Ghana or Nigeria, especially when I moved to DC. So I'm like, okay, I need to go to Ghana. I need to get
Okay.
so, and I just identified so much with Ghanaian culture, as far as food, I mean, honestly, I feel like I identify with. I've been to six African countries so far, and I feel like I identify with. Every time I'm there, it's like I've just come in contact with long lost cousins, because there's so much. I mean, of course, we're all different, but there's so much that we have in common as well. So yeah, a
Well,
lot.
I mean, you've so eloquently articulated that,
Oh,
because
thanks.
in the way that you did it made it sound so easy. Now, and it was easy. So I mean, we know it's not difficult, but I know a lot of people in America, even or UK or France or wherever, South America, Central America, Canada, it, per, they in their minds, there many think that it's difficult to travel to the continent of Africa, or they don't realize that it's like 54 countries on the continent of Africa. So when you talk about going to, they think Nigeria and Ghana are the same place, but they're
Right.
two totally different cultures. I mean, they're not the same. Um, and then you spent some time in East Africa and Kenya, and you spent some time in South Africa,
Mhm,
and I think you even talked about Swaziland, some other different places that you went
mhm.
that were, they have different cultures. But what I do want to ask you, before we get to that, you being a woman traveling solo to Africa, one way ticket, limited resources in a sense,
Oh, a lot of
how in the world did you navigate and do that? That because that's the question everybody's wondering. She went by herself. Did she didn't take anybody with her? They didn't get her? So tell us how you were able to navigate, because I think that's the brilliant part of your story. Went over there. Did you know anybody over there?
So I actually knew one person. It came, I think honestly, God just brought it back to my memory, like, hey, I need you to connect with this girl or see what she's up to. And so this older lady, who we actually, my family went to church. We went to the same church together.
Okay.
I was maybe 11 or 12, and I haven't seen her since I was 12 years old. So I hadn't seen her in a while. We're friends on Facebook, and I saw that she was living in Ghana. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm coming, one way. I'm wondering if you have, I don't know, a couch
I was
or
gonna say, I was gonna say a sofa to lay, a floor
something,
to sleep on, something,
an
right?
extra apartment, Airbnb, something. And I was working other connections as well and just kind of keeping my options open. But I mainly talked to her, and she actually had an extra apartment, a spare apartment, right beneath, maybe a floor or two right beneath where she was living. And so I was still exploring my options because I had to pay rent. So I'm like, okay, what's the cheapest? Because I want to have my rent settled before I even go. Um,
Right.
and so I end up going with her, and I call her auntie, and she's great. And she let me know, and I didn't live like in the busy, like in the center. I didn't live in Accra. I was outside. I was maybe 40-minute drive, maybe even an hour with traffic. You know how traffic
I
is.
know how traffic is.
So
Yeah.
I lived out, like outside, in Offencourt. So she showed me some things, and from there I navigated. As far as like location wise, just paying attention to my surroundings, like different landmarks that I knew, like, okay, this is where I'm at. That made me a little more comfortable. Navigation as far as like financially, I went with $300 in my pocket. And that
Ooh.
that was not the plan. Okay. That was not that was not the plan. Went with $300, and I was terrified. I
I would be too.
I still had a car note to pay monthly. My mom took care of my phone bill monthly, but I had stuff still to pay for at home here in America. So went with $300, and honestly, God just had my back. Like I knew that I was supposed to be in Ghana, especially, I mean, just for me getting a one-way ticket for $386.
Right.
And so as I was in Ghana, I was connecting with different people, and I don't feel like I was super intentional with connecting. I feel like honestly God would just bring people into my space, and I would just go with my piece, to be honest. And so one of my friends, who lives in the UK, connected me with one of her friends in Ghana who's a radio host. And so through that friend, I end up meeting another friend, one of my really good friends now. Her name is Tega, and through that, I got into editing videos there. And so through her network and through another friend of mine, Nana, I end up meeting him. Through those
Yeah.
networks, I end up doing work, for small businesses there. So I was doing social media promos. And that was bringing in obviously the national currency, the CDs. But as far as like American dollars, I was doing. I think it was like social. I was managing someone's social media, my friend's mother's social media. So that was like bringing in some like monthly, little things there. But um, yeah, I navigated, I guess, just by faith for real, and just following my peace. Like God had my back.
Yeah,
Like,
because I mean, how we ended up meeting was just kind of like a random. Because when I was bringing a tour over,
mm-hmm.
and so our mutual friend Nana, he said, I know this lady, and she's doing videos. And I said, okay. He said, would you like for her to come along and do the video? I got to do the accent. I got to do it. So I said, well, is she any good? That's my first
Of
thing. I'm like,
course.
well, I hear what you're saying. A lot of people do videos, but
Right.
I don't think he knew I did videos too. So I said, is she any good? So I think he sent me, I said, well, send me a clip, send me something. So
Mhm.
that he sent me some of your work. I
Yeah.
said, well, cool. Yeah, tell her, come on, And so then when we were all in the lobby, I was expecting when he said, I know this lady. And so I'm thinking somebody like my age coming, yeah. And then he said, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Kamilah." I was like, "Wait a minute." He said, "I said okay." I said, "Okay." So then the story. I said, "Well, now she's over here by herself."
By
I
my
said, "How in the world is she working this out by herself in Ghana?" And that's when we started talking, and you started,
mhm.
explaining to me your vision. And I think what I saw in you that really superseded the video was your willingness and the courage to
Mhm.
do something like that, because I know folks who will not even think about, they hear the word Africa, oh no, I'm not doing Africa,
Yeah.
I'm going to, put me on a plane to London, forget
Right.
Africa because they're going to get me. So did you have any issues in Africa while in any of the places where you were?
Um, Nothing outside of the normal. And when I say normal, I would think of like something that would happen to me here in America. But obviously the difference is that I don't know anyone there that I can like, hey, I need you to come pick me up, or hey, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, only thing that I can think of was when I was in the Uber and I wasn't by myself. I was with three other Black Canadian girls that I actually met at
Oh,
festival, and so I
okay.
was, like I said, I was connecting with people. So anyway, so we were going back to our Airbnbs, and the gas ran out of the Uber car. Like there was no gas. So we're stuck. And I'm like, okay, is this planned? Like what? And then he's talking about he's gonna have his friends drop. Like, no, we don't want your friend. Like, but like it doesn't make any sense. Like you can't track us or nothing. So we called another Uber, and then that Uber got a flat tire. And I said, oh no, okay, this is just, and it was pitch dark, it's at night, like we're not in like I said, we weren't in the city. We were outside on the outskirts. I mean, so that happened. I mean, the normal of like, police bullying drivers for money.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, it was nothing. I never felt in danger. I never felt like my life was in danger. Like I said earlier, being aware of my surroundings. I remember meeting up with another Howard alum student that I ended up connecting with over Instagram, and we actually were both in Ghana at the same time. And with him, I saw how he moved differently being a male. And when I was with him, my guard was like kind of down a little bit too. And so I was just like noticing kind of like the differences of how, with him being male, me being female, like how we have to move differently when traveling, solo. That was interesting to watch. But yeah, no, I've never felt in danger.
Uh,
Never.
That's interesting
At
that
least
you say
not
that.
like scary, like, oh my God. But,
Yeah, because
you
that's what a
know,
lot of people think. They're thinking that if you go over there, you're going to get kidnapped. You're going to, yeah, all these bad things are going to happen to you. And by you being a recent college grad, going over there with a one-way ticket with $300 to your name, and really just kind of navigating and networking, and it all coming together is really a fascinating story. I hope you tell that in your visual storytelling. I hope you tell that story one day, because so many people need to see it. They need to understand what they're missing out on because of fear. And it's like at every turn you conquered the fear, and you had the experience of a lifetime. Because um you in Kenya. Tell me what some of what you remember about Kenya in East Africa.
Um, Kenya was lit. The main thing that I that was like kind of the highlight of my trip was the partying because I didn't party in Ghana. I didn't go out. You know, everyone was coming in December for the
Afrochella.
yes, Afrochella and all that. I didn't participate in that, unfortunately. You know, the money was tight. But in Kenya, I was staying with a friend's family, and so they took really good care of me, and they partied till like 6, 7 in the morning. I was devastated because I'm like a grandma, like I need to be in bed, but it was so much fun. The food, the land is so beautiful. I think being in Kenya for that month and seeing how they lived and they were so, and I felt at home. I felt I was in America a little bit. Like I felt at home. I was in Nairobi, by the way,
Okay.
and just seeing how they lived and how they navigated life there was just beautiful. And really, I thought about moving to Kenya. They had land on the outskirts. I think it was maybe 10 acres of land where they call it their shamba, I guess is what it's called, like a farm
Okay.
area. So they had, you know, a fish pond. They had their coffee beans that they sell. They had their plantains, their bananas, their like potatoes, and like they were growing their own food, and it was just beautiful that was beautiful for me. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. They built their own, you know, their own house
Yeah.
by the shamba, so they, you
Hmm.
know, could get away from the city if they wanted to. So it was just, it was nice. It was really a nice experience, being that I felt like because I was staying with a friend's family, I was set up. I didn't have to, you know, it was different from my time in Ghana. I'll just say that. Yeah, the cultures are different. The food is more, Kenya is kind of bland with their food just a little bit compared to West Africa.
Yeah, because it's not
It's
spicy.
exactly. And then it's also like life was kind of just, it seemed like it was a little, like it was quieter than West Africa, just a little bit. Like they turn up, but it's like once you get off the plane in Ghana, it's,
It's
you know,
on.
everybody's at your face,
You
right?
come out the airport, you're like, what?
It's a lot. Exactly, exactly. So in Kenya, it was not like that. Yeah, it was a different experience, but I thoroughly enjoyed living in Kenya for a month.
And that's to help everyone understand the differences in African culture because again, when people think of Africa, they lump it all together.
Exactly.
And similar to what you're saying, my experience in West Africa was very different than my experience in East Africa, in Tanzania, which is right below Kenya, and then even the time I spent in Ethiopia, which is right above Kenya. So it's like you and to your point about the food, it is different, and I enjoyed both. I enjoyed the West African cuisine, but I also enjoyed the Tanzanian cuisine. But it was different. Like you get the chapati over in Kenya and Tanzania, you're not getting that in
Right.
not in Ghana and in West Africa. You're not going to get jollof rice in Kenya or Tanzania unless there's a Ghanaian or
And even
Nigerian
that's
restaurant.
not even good. I went to a Ghanaian restaurant in Kenya and I was like, nah, it's just
it's
it's
not,
not
it's
it's
not
not
it's like it's not right. It's
not
like
good. However, the Ethiopian food, obviously with being close to Ethiopia, that food was bomb. I loved having Ethiopian food.
you have
Ethiopia.
to get to Ethiopia. You
It was
that
$100 ticket, okay, and I wanted to go from Kenya, and I wanted to go, but I would only be able to spend like a weekend, and then I didn't know anyone. So, not that that ever stopped me before, but
I was
it was a lot of.
but
It
I
was
was
just
like
a
I
lot
don't
of.
know anybody there, but you would
I would
appreciate.
have went if I had the finances. I
Mhm.
would have went. I would have went.
Well, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
tell you when you get a chance to go to Ethiopia, it is probably you will know that you're in a different part of Africa. You'll say, wait a minute. You'll see the similarities,
Mhm.
but you'll say this is very different. Something they held on to something. And I'll say this, Zanzibar is like that too. Even though it's a part of Tanzania, it's
Mhm.
very different from mainland Tanzania.
Mhm.
So you feel like you're like, wow, this is it's very unique. But Ethiopia kind of has like a Arabic African.
Mhm.
It's a very interesting combination.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you like this: I'm looking to get to Kenya next when I'm in East Africa again. I'm gonna see how I can hop over to Kenya
The
and
safaris are amazing too. I didn't really get to experience like the safaris, how people post their pictures on Instagram and stuff. That wasn't really my experience.
you
But
just happen to be a part of the safari. You were just
I
out there.
local safari. So a lot of people go out into like the Maasai tribe and all of that. It's a couple hours away. That stuff was expensive, yo. I was like, oh no, I can't, I can't do that one this
Hey, the
time.
Messiah, no time it is the Messiah entrepreneurial. They say if you're gonna come to see us, you got to pay.
Exactly. And that I was like, oh, that's not going to work. But my mom, she wanted me to go on the safari. So she gave me money to go for like the local one. And it was still really nice. Like we saw the top five, I guess, of the lion.
Okay.
What is the lion?
The lion, the giraffe, the elephant, and the rhino, not the rhino, the hippo.
The top five?
I don't know.
The ones that I guess are hard to see or that everyone comes and see, I don't know. But the lion was literally walking right alongside of, there were like 4 of them, right alongside our Jeep. And I was like, oh Lord. But it was a great, great, great experience. And there's so much history there in Kenya that I never knew about.
I tell you again, as you're talking about it, it's when you talk about the history aspect and what we don't know. Now, kind of just circling back over to West Africa. So after you were on the tour, you were taking the footage of the tour that I was sponsoring and had everyone on. And then after that tour wrapped up, we went to Benin and Togo.
My mind was spinning. Oh man.
I wrote a children's book called
Ready.
I tell people the children's book, I was debating whether or not I was going to do a children's book about Benin and Togo, but I said I have to do it on a level for children. But it was like, and I call it hidden treasures because when we were in Benin and Togo, we just kept looking at each other like,
yeah, man,
like what in the world is going, because they tell us so many negative things about that part of the world, and then you get there and you're like, now I understand what's going on. I see it more clearly. But I will tell you that when we went, when the whole tour went to the I think the beach, it was one of the, wherever it was, where, because we went to the what is it called, the not the gate of, it's not the door of no return, it's like the
slave house,
well, we went to the slave house, that the esclaves, the mansion esclaves, because everything is in French, so that everyone knows. Yeah, everything was in French in Benin and Togo because the French colonized there, which is a whole nother story. But then where's the place, the like the monument where they commemorate, I guess a dungeon used to be there, and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we went there. I tell everybody that if you really want to know some things, go to Benin and Togo. If you're on that level of trying to understand some things, some people are going for tourism and but if you're like saying, I need to have an experience of understanding a few things, go to Benin and Togo. We won't tell you too much. We're not gonna let the cat all the way out the bag, but
and that's because I'm like, I wanted to like bring my family. I was like, you guys got to come to Ghana, but I was like, nah, we got to go to Benin and Togo as well. Like, if you go to Ghana, you have to. It's a part of the experience. It's depending on what type of experience you're trying to have, but it unraveled my whole world. Benin and Togo literally unraveled everything. My whole foundation of what I grew up believing, everything was completely shaken, and it wasn't solid anymore.
Because you look at this, it's like you walk away and you say to yourself, oh man, this is deep. I mean, I can't stop when I look back at my pictures. Now the wildest part about Benin and Togo for me, as far as just like activity, was when I put that snake on my neck.
Oh man, yes. That was crazy for everybody.
I remember when you put the snake on your neck, and you were like, you had this look on your face.
It started moving. That's when I couldn't hang no more. I couldn't hang because I didn't want to feel the skin of the snake, and it was. But the fact that they worship these snakes, like they worship.
They do. That's right. They do.
I'm like, and we're taught, snakes, like that's the serpent, it's the devil, it's the, and they worship this python. So it's crazy, like in the beliefs and.
It's deep. It gets real deep. The funny part, my brother ran off. He ran.
Because it was me and him who do it. And I was like, okay, I can't be no punk. I can't. Let me do it for the camera. Let me get the picture in there.
He was gone.
Because I couldn't just be the only one.
he was gone, and we had Mr. Billy and Miss Claudette, and they were 89 and 85 respectively, and they wore to put it on, and so the thing I remember about the snake, because he started like crawling up my arm, and so I was like, look, all right, we're cool, but then he kept like the little tongue or whatever, it kept hitting my
Yeah,
arm, and I was like, oh, what is this?
exactly.
And
It's awful.
like some people right now say, well, no, I don't have to go to Benin and Togo because I'm not putting on a snake. You don't have to put on a snake. You don't have to wear a
Right,
snake in Benin and Togo at all. But it's
right.
like, but I think, okay, let me ask you this. Coming out of, I'm not out of high school, coming out of college
Mhm.
with, what are some of the lessons that you took away from your experience in Africa?
Some of the lessons.
That's probably a loaded question.
It is. Um, okay, well, the first thing that comes to mind is that it's not all a monolith.
Hmm.
Our stories, it's not just one story, and this is it, and that's all. But that there are many stories. There are many, like we were saying, different cultures and different styles and different experiences, and we're just not all the African continent is not just one story. That's probably one of the things I took away from traveling the continent. Another thing would probably be that, I don't know how to phrase this one. Um, just basically stuff that was demonized on the
Mhm.
continent. Obviously, I mean, I grew up in a Christian household, um, deep in Christianity, really deep, and like that was, you know, Jesus. And that's a completely different story for a different day. But um, just how things about Africa was just demonized, and it's not what it is. What
Hmm.
they told us here in America, it's not that. Like I said, I don't really want to go too deep in that because I feel like that would be a completely different conversation,
That's
which
like a whole nother talk, but I
yeah,
mean, but I think there's something relevant to what you're saying, though. What you're saying is very interesting. I mean, because I know where, I mean, we've talked about this, so we were in that space and we talked about what we were seeing, kind of like at the same time. But it's, I think for me to kind of tie into what you're saying, because a lot of people asking me, well, Jay, well, what did you see over there? What I saw was the fact that someone else manipulated the story.
yep, yep,
And so when you have all of these people, in particular, I'll just say the French and the Portuguese in particular, because when you saw the French and the Portuguese influence in Benin and Togo, obviously Portuguese were there first, and then the French came along and colonized it. So what it caused me to do was to start questioning the stories that I've been taught,
yep,
because and now my thing is I always consider the source. Like, who told me? Who told me? Who told me these people were bad?
right,
And but then they did the same thing to them. They told them they were bad. So as they were colonizing them, they
hmm,
just kind of did this thing, and it's just deep when I say that, meaning, and you don't get that just from reading a book per se. It's like when you stand in that space and you see everybody riding around on motorcycles. You're like, now why is everybody riding around on So you see the difference between Togo and Ghana.
yeah,
And you can see I mean, it's just so much that I think from an educational standpoint, no matter what your background is,
mhm,
I think it's important for Europeans
yeah,
to
absolutely,
go.
absolutely,
Regardless of your religious affiliation, it's important to go to get an accurate historical perspective on what really happened, and not just taking someone's word for it who probably never has been and probably has no desire to go.
right,
Or if they went, they only went to try to change these people. That was my thing. I'm like, why am I coming here thinking I'm better than anyone?
right,
I'm not better than anyone. What am I?
yeah,
What am I thinking? Why am I even coming here thinking that I'm better than these people?
mhm,
And these people can do things I can't do. They can live off of the land. I can't live off of the land. They can. They're at peace in conditions that would like drive me, because of how I've been
we're
colonized.
spoiled and privileged here in America,
Yeah.
okay? So you got to adjust a lot. when you go, you just gotta adjust, and you gotta be okay, and you gotta come down here. Not, I don't want to say come down anywhere, but
Right.
you gotta you immerse yourself into the culture if you really want to get the experience, if you really want to live, as a Ghanaian or wherever you are, a Kenyan or whatever.
And if you want to expand your mind, I think that's what happened for me. My mindset expanded, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't fear the continent at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some places I probably won't go to Libya
Mm-hmm.
right now,
Yeah.
because there's certain places that,
Yeah.
that I might not go to certain parts of
Right.
Somalia
Right.
because of some of the unrest that's taking place. But then guess what? There's certain parts of America you're not gonna catch me in either. So it's like, but it's when I it's like you go and you realize how much you have not been taught, and you realize why you have not been taught
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Because if you see all of these people as in a negative light, or you see these people as being deficient, or you see them as, then you begin to look at yourself as being like blessed above them. Like, I'm blessed because I have this and I have all these different things. And then something hit me real heavy. I don't know if I talked to you about this on the tour or not, but I said, I wonder how blessed we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nana and Emmanuel and Kofi, they were telling me, sometimes we eat once a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, because like, wow, once a day. Wow. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time it was something I'd heard. I think it was something. I think Farrakhan was talking about. Elijah Muhammad was telling him the importance of eating once a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was something, some random. I don't even know where I heard it. I might have been somewhere, and I heard him talking, and I thought about it. I said, now, how blessed are we really? Because we can eat ourselves sick. We can eat until we can't eat anymore, till we eat to high blood pressure, eat to diabetes, eat to everything. And I said, but now they eat once a day, and it seems like they don't have the same ailments. And when I say they do, some people do have the ailments based upon their diet. But now we're moving towards the intermittent fasting. Now we're eating once a day. Now we're now we're so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, am I really blessed to be able to have an unlimited supply of whatever? And
Mm-hmm.
is there something that I'm missing from
Mm-hmm.
not having, so those are just questions that I began to have, and I just see it a lot.
I think at least for me, I remember questioning, well, what's the definition of blessed? Like, is it, like, why does it have to be a hot shower and, I don't know, like you said, being able to eat more than once a day? Like, now, I mean, and
You're back.
I'm back. Hey, what's going
so
on?
so you were talking about because you froze, and then I guess you said I froze.
The concept of blessed, like
Right.
blessed.
Okay. So we can pick it up from there. Just pick it up from there.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah. So I think everyone has their own definition of what it means to be blessed. Of course, for me growing up, it was like, a hot shower, roof over my head, like kind of, I mean, the necessities of life, kind of just the simple stuff. But I just think it varies. It varies for everyone. And for me to say, oh, I'm blessed, like after what I've noticed is like when people come back from Africa and they're saying, man, I just realized I'm so blessed. And, I could be, whatever. And I feel like that's an insult in a way to the people on the continent. Like, I don't know, like, I just don't feel right necessarily saying like, I'm blessed because of A, B, and C. They're blessed because of A, B, and C. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense,
You
because it's all up to each person's definition of blessed. And
Mhm.
I saw their blessing
Yeah.
in, I, I admired so much about them, even in the grind, in the hustle, or whatever you want to call it. I was like, there's a piece that they have, though,
hmm
that I see absent in
hmm
America,
Yep.
in different places.
Yep.
And it's like we both have something to say it again.
I definitely found my peace back. I got my peace back while being there. Transitioning from a American on the go, working 3 jobs, full time student, and slowing all the way down and just enjoying nature, enjoying life, enjoying the land. Like, it was hard at first, but yeah, I definitely found like there's so much peace in the lifestyle there.
Yeah. And I think that's, if someone, I mean, now the other part of it is, if you want like the American Western experience, you can have that too.
Exactly.
You can
You
have the
definitely got
5-star, you can have the luxury, you can
it.
have the limousines, you can
Yeah,
have the Mercedes, you can have the $3 million houses, you
five
can have the,
bedroom, exactly. Yeah.
you can have it all. You can, and I think for me, it's like I would want to experience both, because it's like I enjoyed my time when I was in Zanzibar and I was in the village. And then when I was in the Maasai village, I was like, wow. I said, there's something really about this that's, it's like, it's like I've been sheltered away from something. And it's like they have something, although I might not ever assimilate into their culture per se, but I don't know. If I spend enough time, I don't know. But it's like I don't look down on anyone. I don't pity anyone. I don't feel sorry for anyone. I mean, obviously, and obviously, there are parts of Africa that have the extreme challenges where there is no water, there is no food, there is
Absolutely.
extreme poverty. So, not to negate that or to dismiss that fact at all, but there's so much more to it, and I think that's what what happens when you go with the right mindset. I tell people all the time, go with the right mindset. If you go with the wrong mindset, you're going to be looking down on the people. You're going to
Your
have that.
experience is not going to be good. You're going to be mad. You're going to be irritated. You're going to want to come home,
Yeah.
come back to America or wherever you came from.
Right. That's why I tell people, leave America in America. And it's like, if you're going to Africa or Ghana or Tanzania or Kenya or wherever, and you're looking for America, why are you even going?
Right, exactly. Real, yeah, that's real.
Why not just stay home? But it's like something happens internally. It's like, the older I get, the more philosophical I become. So it's like, now it's like, okay, let me
Hmm.
see that there's more to this world than America. And America's beautiful, has a lot of nice places. Not to knock America in that sense, but it's like, so it.
So much.
What? Well, I want to thank you, because I think you have really shed light on this. I see a bright future for you, because you did something that so many people won't do. You took a chance, and because of that, you have made connections. You've done different things,
I got
and
employed.
right. That's it.
Got a job.
All of this,
I
all of
didn't
this.
go to Ghana, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have known rolling. I wouldn't be in the place I'm in now.
Right. And
So,
so these are things that you have done as a result of $386 and some change,
mhm,
and taking a chance. And that's what I tell people. I say, take a chance. You don't know what's on the other side of it. If it's a bad experience, okay, it is a bad experience. At least you know you had a bad experience and you move on to the next thing. But
right.
who knows what's on the other side of it? And so we met over in Ghana, and so you've done video work for me, and so video work for my summer camp, and you'll be doing more. So it's all of these different things. You don't know what's on the other side until you take a chance. And so I think for you, Kamilah, you have been an inspiration again for me, but for so many other people who know your story and have watched your journey. And it's really just beginning. That's the part. It's
Yeah.
just beginning. Where's your next travel adventure to? Do you plan on going back to the continent?
Of course, of course. I mean, well, once COVID lets up, um, I need to go visit friends back in South Africa. Definitely, that has to be a thing. But I am so interested in going back to West Africa. I want to do Senegal. I want to do Ivory Coast, and I need to. I almost got to Nigeria, but that visa that they was charging for Americans, which I don't blame them, but
That's the American tax. That's the American tax.
exactly,
Right. Right.
exactly. That was expensive. So I do want to get to Nigeria as well, definitely. Um, and of course, Ethiopia, Angola. I've been
Oh
wanting to
yeah,
go
that's
there.
right. Right.
There's so many places. There are so many places. So many places. Um, yeah, it's main. Oh, I do want to travel South America more. I went there once. I would
Okay.
love travel there more. Brazil, like how
Yeah,
you went.
yeah, Salvador. Yeah, you
It's
got to
kind of
get
like
to
you see
Salvador.
how it all, the African continent, and then the African diaspora. It's like this. And so to see I want to kind of piece the puzzles together and just do the visual storytelling and taking people on a journey with me. Um,
When you go to Salvador, it will
it's,
bring Benin and Togo to life. Um, that I'm telling you,
I believe it.
Salvador in Brazil is
Mhm,
going to you'll say, wow. All of your experiences in Africa will come to life when you
mhm,
go to Salvador because you'll see everybody looking like us. You say, what?
exactly.
Where
So
in the
yeah,
world?
we-
What y'all doing here? So and
exactly. We
but
blend in. That's another thing with traveling. I think that I found pretty comforting is people think, until I open my mouth, of course, but people think that I'm a native. Even when I was in Panama, people thought I was Panamanian. When I was in Ghana, like I said, until I opened my mouth, people thought I was Ghanaian. They was like, nah, somebody is Ghanaian in your family. Um, even when I was in South Africa, people were walking up to me speaking Xhosa. So we blend in because there's Black people everywhere, and that's
yes,
the thing that is comforting. Like we're not sticking out like a sore thumb.
not at all. Not at all.
Mhm.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I want to thank you for sharing your journey. Is there, as we get ready to wrap this up, anything that you would like to share with anyone who might be on the fence, who might be nervous or concerned? They're thinking about all 500 shots and all of that, which you don't need 500 shots
You
to
don't,
go.
you don't, you don't. And I don't even have malaria pills, y'all. Okay,
Oh, you really worked it out.
I
You
had
go you.
those things. They cost money. Okay, so all I had was a prayer and some bug spray, and I was totally fine. I did get a yellow fever shot. I did,
Right.
but here's the thing. I'll tell you that offline.
All right, tell
But
me. Okay. All right, tell me offline. Okay. Okay. All right.
yo, it was crazy. My experience, it was crazy. Anyways, but
You didn't
so
get sick. You didn't get sick. Everybody talking about, did you get sick?
no, uh-uh,
Okay. Yeah. See.
no. I might have had like nothing. It was nothing from like a bug or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have diarrhea.
Okay.
That's a given. I mean, especially if you're drinking, and eating stuff that your body isn't used to.
Well,
Um,
I didn't touch the water. I didn't. I was that guy. I was like, I'm not touching the water.
Water. I didn't touch like the sink water.
Okay.
But I didn't always have like those bottled waters. I would drink out the bag water. And I was fine. Like those were fine. But like that first week, I definitely had diarrhea.
Okay. So your body was in
I
shock.
didn't have those water bags. I didn't start drinking them until like later on, and I was
Right
there.
till after things got settled.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, I'm a little used to the. I'm a
The
little used
situation.
exactly.
I tell people when they go to tours, just make sure they bring the Imodium because you just don't know. Your body's in a new place, and
And I didn't
you
even
know,
have that. I had no
and sometimes it could be just because you're eating better quality food too. Because all this,
that too. And a lot more of their stuff is fresh as far as like the pineapples. I haven't had pineapples since I left Ghana because I was just like, well, I actually bought some pineapples because I wanted to juice, but the pineapple is just different. The pineapples are better in Ghana.
it is, yeah, it is different.
They're the natural, like, is great. The watermelon, they have seeded watermelon.
Yeah.
It's hard to find out here. Just everything was great. But anyways, to answer your question, um, always follow your peace. I think that has been number one, my number one thing, probably since I entered my 20s, and I'll be
Okay.
28 next year or next month. Sorry, wow, I'll be 28 next month. So for the last 8 years, for me, it's been follow your peace and not your fear. And I feel like sometimes fear can be masked as peace, and that's not it. Um,
Hmm.
so definitely following your peace. If it feels right, do it. It doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't, because me going to Ghana with $300 don't make logical sense.
No, it doesn't. No.
Like oh no, it doesn't. Thank you.
Hey,
um,
but you did it though.
exactly, and every car payment was paid too while I was out there. I don't know
I
how,
watched how you navigate.
but
I was like, she got the hustle thing happening too. I was like, I'm taking notes. I'm from the old school. I'm like, it's rare that I'm impressed. I was like, how's she doing this?
and I don't. And there's no formula for it. There is absolutely no formula. So yeah, follow your peace. follow your heart. Um, yeah, and life is a daring adventure. Be
All
willing
right. From Adventurous Cam, that's where you can find her on IG. And
to
that's Adventurous KAM. And
yes.
so I know how to do this. Well, listen, everybody, we've been talking to Kamilah Tom. She is a visual storyteller. She's also a recent graduate of Howard University in broadcast journalism. And she has been on an adventure, I believe, that will lay the foundation for many stories that she's going to tell. She's clearly adventurous. She's clearly fearless and courageous and willing to go to places most people aren't. And I think that's going to be part of your platform as you learn more and more and as you begin to connect with more and more people. And I just hope that as you're on your journey, that you will just continue to inspire people to explore and to open their minds, and so the good things are coming your way. So I'm glad to have you as a part of my team, and I look forward to some of the video work that you're going to be doing, and continued success to you.
Thank you, Jay.